You waited the call of this guy joining us live right now on the phone line. It is Rob Zombie. Rob?
Hey. Sorry for being late calling.
No worries,
I'm a very
man.
punctual person usually.
Yeah? Well, you've got a gig. You've got an excuse. What goes on gig day for Rob Zombie hours before you hit the stage, as the case is now?
It's a lot of prep work. You know, it's a big show with a lot of business, so it takes a lot of doing every day. And every day is a different venue, so every day is a different challenge. So there's a lot of work every day.
I saw you over the summer at Rocklahoma, and we spent a lot of time talking, and I was blown away by that show that I saw there. And this show that you're doing now on this Twins of Evil tour with Manson, is it comparable to that show that you put on at Rocklahoma?
No, it's bigger.
It's bigger?
Yeah, it's a bigger show, if you can believe that. No, it's a bigger show. I mean, that's always my thing with each tour. Like, well, what can we do now to go bigger? So it's bigger than Rocklahoma for sure, yeah.
Can you fit it in all these venues you're playing? I mean, you're playing decent-sized places, but...
Well, sometimes we can't. I mean, I never thought that the stage in an arena would be too small, you know? But we roll in like, oh, man, it's too small again. So we can fit pretty much everything, not always, but, our show coming up at Hammerstein is the trickiest one of all, because that's... our Coliseum show in the Hammerstein Ballroom is not going to fly.
And that's a good-sized stage. I was just there recently to see Slash. I mean, that's a big... I mean, it's not an arena, but it's a good-sized venue, so that speaks to how big the show is. What do you do, Rob? Like, where are you tonight? What city are you in now?
We're in, where the hell am I? Youngstown, Ohio.
And then you're in, is it Binghamton tomorrow?
You could be right about it. Where are we tomorrow? I don't even have a clue.
I know...
Rochester.
Yeah, Sully wanted me to just mention some of the dates, so we want to tell people listening all over where they can...
Yeah, we got a lot of New York area shows coming up. Rochester, and then Manhattan, and Glen Falls. Wherever Glen Falls is. That's in Albany.
That's New York, too, yeah.
Yeah, that's New York.
Yeah,
I just get off the bus and walk to the stage. I don't know where I am.
Well, what do you do as far as warm-ups before you actually go on? Like, you're playing tonight. I imagine you're going on in an hour or so. What do you do, a whole, like, vocal thing and, like, a whole physical thing? Or are you one of those guys that just walks out and does it?
I pretty much just walk out and do it. Usually all these venues are usually hockey arenas, so they're freezing cold, so we just jump up and down a little bit to get our blood pumping, but that's about the extent of it. I should probably do things. I'm sure I've ruined my vocal cords severely over the years, but I just can't be bothered.
We're talking live with Rob Zombie. The Twins of Evil tour is out there now. So, Rob, let's get right into it, because I know you have limited time. When I've told people you were coming on via Twitter and all that, and I know it's been active out there the last couple days. You and your touring partner, Marilyn Manson, and some stuff that went on in Detroit. Tell us where we're at with that now and exactly what happened.
Well, I don't really want to say exactly what happened, because I feel like it's over and done with, and it just seems like to keep talking about it is just making a bigger deal, perhaps, than it even was to begin with. But everything's fine. Tour's moving along. Everybody's good. Everybody's happy. I don't know. Momentary insanity on everybody's part, we'll call it.
Are you now? It's a co-headline tour, and I mean, as I've said, I love the idea, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday, because I'm a fan of both bands and both of you guys, and I think that, as you said, leading up to the tour, it's probably something that should have happened a long time ago. Now that it's happening, are you questioning whether, or realizing why that hasn't happened sooner?
I don't know. Stuff happens, and, it's no big deal. I mean, it just, it always seems like a bigger deal. Like, back in the day, it would have happened and no one would even notice, and we wouldn't even be talking about it. But, like, once something gets on YouTube or something, it seems like such a big calamity. But it's all good. We're all here. And, it is what it is. Nobody cares. We all forgot about it here already.
Well, no, I know you did, and I don't mean to press you on it, but one other thing I do need to ask you, because it is a story out there, and it did go on to your, you posted some stuff on Twitter as recently as today, where you posted that, anybody with concerns, don't worry, everything's cool, the tour is rolling along. So did you guys have to sit down and make sure you were all cool because there are fans on upcoming dates that are concerned that this is going to implode?
No, I mean, that's why I put it. I mean, I forget sometimes. To us, it was pretty much a done deal that night and over with. But news on the internet travels sometimes either slowly or so fast that everybody has the information wrong. So everybody's concerned, oh, this is canceled. Nothing's canceled. It's all as it ever was. And if anything, my biggest regret is that anyone even knew anything happened, because it was not worth what it was. But no, it's all good. It's all fine. There's no problems, and I mean, I was just trying to make it clear, because the only thing that on the internet that was sort of pissing me off was people were saying it was some conflict between our shows, like one person trying to impede another person's show, and that's not the case at all. You know, I mean, with all these type of tours, we always agree. Everything's 50-50. Nobody gets in the way of anyone else's show. I mean, that's the whole point of it, really. I mean, they have two big headlining shows. So, you know, when people started saying that was the only reason I felt like I should speak up, because I didn't want people thinking that. You know, no one is ever trying to mess with somebody else's show. That really just wasn't the case at all.
Well, I know it's a co-headline tour, and for people that don't know, when it's a co-headline, it is split down the middle. The only difference being that you are closing all the shows, but the set times, the production, and all that is equal. And I also know from my own experience, having, you know, emceed a lot of shows, hosted a lot of shows, that when you do a co-headliner with more than one band on the bill, those set times that are allotted every night are extremely tight, and if you go on late, then you got to kill a song or two, because that's got to come off your set, because you're dealing with curfews and stuff at the venues and all that. I know from experience, even when I've gone up and introduced bands, the house guys got to know how long I'm going to be out there, because if it's too much more than a couple minutes, it could cut off a band's song, which of course we never want to do.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, that's what sometimes the fans don't realize. I mean, they don't have to realize it doesn't matter, but the venues have strict curfews, and they will just turn the power off on you. And so everybody has to stick to their time, as un-rock and roll as that sounds. I mean, if you go on late, it has to come out of your show, not the other band's show. It's not their fault. And that's happened all the way through, you know. I mean, there was one night in Vegas where some of our stuff wasn't working. So we had to go on 10 minutes late, so we had to cut 10 minutes from our set. I mean, it's just the way it goes, you know. I mean, the time's got to come out of somewhere. There's not an infinite amount of time. And that's really, you know, what it's about. And I don't know, maybe somebody misunderstood what that was all about, but it's all fine.
Well, that's good. I mean, so just so that everybody can relax and moving forward, that this thing is all hunky-dory right now, and everybody's having fun and doing their show and doing their thing, and it's all working for everybody, and you're not regretting that this has happened.
No, I mean, I regretted that happened, because the tour was going great. There were no problems at all, and that's why the whole thing that had happened, that it was so shocking to me. But who cares, you know? It's over and done with, and nobody cares anymore, and we're just pressing on, you know. Another day, another city, another show.
All right, well, a couple more things, and I'll let you go, because
Sure.
I know you've got a gig coming up. Are you doing anything new? Because I know that you, just after I saw you at Rocklahoma, you were just going right in the studio to do a new album.
We are not doing anything new, because I didn't think that anybody really would have cared to hear anything new, because that's how I always feel. But we are doing songs that either we've never played before, or I haven't done in like 10 years. So we went that route instead, digging up some old stuff. But then again, every time we change the set and we take out a song to put in something newish, everybody complains.
Yeah, I mean, you
so
can't
win.
You can't win. You can't make everybody happy. And
No.
the other thing that I would imagine would be a challenge, having seen your show recently, is, you know, that's a really, I mean, the way stuff is cut to the music and the video and the lights and everything you have going on. I said many times, one of the most impressive shows I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I imagine that if you do roll something new into that set, there's a lot that goes into it besides just knowing that the band knows it, right?
No, it's a big snowball effect, because everything is timed to the music, and the crew guys need to know it for the pyro cues, for the video cues, for the lighting cues. And if we show up one morning and go, hey, let's play this out of nowhere, you know, you just see the look of panic spread across everyone's face. So we try to give them fair warning. Well, we'll start rehearsing some different things at soundcheck days in advance to give them some heads up. Because, it's a snowball effect.
Rob Zombie is my guest. Go see him currently out on tour, co-headlining with Marilyn Manson, the Twins of Evil tour. What's the website for you, Rob? Is it just your name, robzombie.com?
Yeah, just robzombie.com. I assume all the tour dates are up there.
How much longer are you out for?
Well, we finish in Europe sometime in the middle of December, I think, something like that.
And is that with Manson also?
Yes.
So you'll continue with him pretty much right through the end of the year?
Yes, yes.
Barring no...
Hopefully.
I was just going to say, barring no outbursts.
That's the plan, anyway.
Listen, man, I got to be honest with you. To me, I mean, listen, I know that if there's some sort of tensions or there's issues, it sucks for you guys because you're on the road, but purely as a rock and roll fan, and knowing both of you guys, but looking at it from the outside, it's kind of fun to see, like, you know, you would admit yourself, I think, if this wasn't you in this situation, watching someone else out there on tour and just not knowing the volatile nature of it, it's kind of, you know, entertaining in a way. It's kind of rock and roll, you know?
I guess it's entertaining, but I got to be honest with you. Whenever I would see other bands feud, whether it was, I can't remember back in the day, it was like Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue, or then Motley Crue and God, I was always...
Motley Crue and Godsmack was the big one.
I was always a little embarrassed about it, you know? And that's how I felt about this. I'm like, really? What, it was like 12?
But we live in a day and age where everybody is so politically correct. Everybody's like, most people are so health conscious. There's nothing, you go backstage at a rock show, it's pretty tame, nothing's going on. And, you know, it may, I know it wasn't the desired effect, but it certainly cast some new attention.
Well, if it sold some tickets, we'll be happy to do it again for everybody, but,
yeah, I'm not saying it's calculated in any way and that you wanted this.
No,
I'm just saying it's got people talking, that's for sure.
It was. No, that was
Hey, what's going on with your movie? How far along are you? Are you done?
The movie's completely finished, and it'll be out early next year. I don't have an exact release date yet. Probably, I'll have it soon, but not yet.
Are you still dropping the trailer into the middle of the set?
Yes, towards the end of the set. Even though it's online, it seems like there's a large percentage of our fans who don't get information that way, I guess. So, yeah, we still play it.
It's pretty cool, and for people that don't know, and again, because I saw this at Rocklahoma, there's a part in the show where the trailer for the movie becomes part of the show, and it's not, you know, there's a way that could look very gratuitous and self-serving, but it really doesn't. It works in the context of the show. It really is a cool moment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me hawking Pepsi, it'd be a little weird, but I mean, I know that, you know, the fans of the music are usually the same fans of the movies, and it's my movie, so I'm there with the music. I figure, what the hell, you know, and the kids ask me about it, and they're excited to see it. So, you know, I worry sometimes, does it seem like you're stopping to have a TV commercial? But really, I use it as a moment that we can set up the next thing we're going to do, too, because we don't have a lot of downtime on stage. So sometimes you can only have so many guitar solos and drum solos. So sometimes you got to find other ways to mask what's going on behind the scenes.
So next year, you don't have a firm date for it to come out. It's done, but sometime next year?
Yeah, early next year. We're still trying to figure it out. We don't know yet. Because for the first time ever, I made the movie without having a release date already in place, because we did it a different way, where we would make the movie, financed it, and then went and sold it to a distributor, which means we didn't ever have a release date. So now the distributor's trying to lock in a release date, but, you know, release dates in all the theaters get booked very far in advance. So it's not like you can just go, how about Halloween? But, you know, this Halloween has been booked for probably 2 years with a lot of these movies. So we're just trying to find the next available chunk of theaters that we can get to.
And did John 5 do the score?
John 5 did the score, and it's phenomenal. But it's not a rock score by any means. It's very like it's sort of an old, sort of 70s sounding horror movie score, like something from like The Omen or, you know, Suspiria or something like that.
You know, he has become the star of that metal show. I don't know if you know that, but we
Trust me, Ed, I know it. He texts me every time he's on. Did you watch? Did you watch? How was it? You know, trust me. There's nothing with you and John on the metal show that I'm not up to.
you know. Let me tell you, man. He is there in the history of that TV show. There, and I'm being honest about this. There is nobody that has gotten a bigger pop out of being on it than him, and that is 100% because of him and his ability. I mean, and I should tell you this too, and you know it darn well, I'm sure, but every guest that we have on the set when he's up there playing, people see them get in my ear during the commercial, they're all saying to me, who is that guy? I must work with him.
Oh, I saw the look in Sammy's eye. Oh, Adriana's not available. We'll get that ticket foot. I saw it.
You got it. I mean, from Paul Rogers to Sammy Hagar to everybody else.
I see it. I watch their faces. I know. Well, I mean, no joke. I mean, I don't just say this because he's in the band. I say this because I see, you know, I know how he is. But I don't think there is a better guitar player right now working. I mean, I don't know who's better. I mean, it's you know.
It's well, and not only that. I mean, and not just to go on a John 5 bench here, but guitar player, but the total package of being a great guy and also a great writer, as you know as well. Being on the road, you got to be on the road with this guy all these times.
Oh yeah, no, I mean we're best of friends. That's the main thing. I mean, that's really what you know. That's you got to have that first. But if you can have your best friend happens to be a phenomenal guitar player, it doesn't hurt.
So the album that you guys just did together, when you have a date for that? I forgot what you said.
I don't have a date exactly. What I'm looking to do is release the album and the movie simultaneously because I can't bear to do 2 press junkets. So I want to do one for both at the same time. Because to put out the record and do all the press and put out the movie and all the press would just make me a little nutty. So I'm going to try to release them both at the same time.
You like doing press, or is it a necessary evil?
Well, it's you know, it's weird. It's when the interviews are good and fun and you're talking, it's all good, and then sometimes they're just stressful and you're just, you know, I mean, that is the nature of the beast. Everybody can't interview you and know anything about you, so you can't really always have a rapport. So sometimes those days get a little bit like, you know, that's when you're giving your stock answers, but okay.
And the last thing here, with a show coming here in New York City on Wednesday at the Hammerstein, you have a long history in this city. I mean, I remember seeing White Zombie at the Cat Club back in the day.
Yeah.
When you come to New York with all your history here, is it a special gig?
It's weird. It is and it isn't, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It just seems like everyone I knew from New York is gone. So you think I would come to New York and the guest list would have 100 people on it. It's got like nobody on it. Like 2 people, because everybody moved to L.A.
Well,
I don't even know anybody anymore. So it's like, it's the sort of hollow hometown gig where I have no friends left.
Well, that's why people ask us why we moved the TV show to L.A. a while ago. It's because it was getting harder to get guests because
I believe it.
99% of the musicians live on the West Coast, although you are still representing the East Coast.
I know. So now when you want me to come on the metal show, it's a huge pain in the ass. I got to get on a plane rather than driving 40 minutes.
Yeah, but you're a movie guy now. You must be in L.A. a lot.
Yeah, actually, I am.
Hey, you see any movies that you like recently? Anything we should keep an eye open for?
The last thing I saw was Frankenweenie. That was the last movie I saw.
That was the Tim Burton one?
Yeah, it was terrific. I mean, if you like Tim Burton, it's very classic Tim Burton. I mean, it seems like a movie he would have made right after Beetlejuice or something. It's amazing. It's terrific. I really liked it a lot.
So any other, no, that's the horror that you would recommend if that's a horror film, Frankenweenie?
Yeah, that's the only thing I've seen in a long, long time. I haven't been to the movies in a while. I think before that, the last movie I saw was Ted.
You know, I had Slash in here recently. He's doing the horror thing now, as I'm sure you know.
Who is?
Slash.
Oh, right. Yeah, I talked to him about that when I saw him last time.
Yeah, he's got a movie coming out soon. I guess he's doing the behind-the-scenes stuff, though. He's not getting his hands quite as involved as you are with.
Yeah, a lot of people getting into producing things or production companies or that type of stuff. Yeah.
Well, listen, man, I know you got a gig, and I wanted to get you on a few minutes because I was texting with Sully, your tour manager, being that annoying guy, asking to get somebody into the show. I had no idea. I figured you were going to tell me that the list was so tight in New York, but now that I know it, I don't.
No, now you can ask me. Eddie Trump plus 12.
No. But I was talking to him and I said, hey, if Rob's around, we should get him on because obviously I'm excited about seeing the tour, and it's always good to talk to you, but. There were a lot of people, as you know, kind of wanting to know what the hell was going on and if everything was cool and this tour was going to make it. So
yeah, it's all good, and I feel that it's like, it's like to even talk about it, it's almost not worth it anymore. So
have you had a chance to watch his show much, or you too?
Well, I had seen it. I always watch the same. I had seen the first half of it about 5 times because halfway through his show, I go get ready for my show, so I would always see up to a certain point. Every time I would hear the dope show, I knew I had to go get ready.
And what were your thoughts? I'm curious, when being a guy that's into theatrical rock and everything, when you first heard of Manson, because honestly, I can honestly say I was following him since the first album, since the very beginning. When did he first come on your radar, and what were your impressions of him on the outside before you even knew about him?
Well, the first time I heard about them, they opened for White Zombie back in like the early 90s, like 92 maybe, 91. In Florida, and I didn't watch the show because I don't know, it was just some local band I never heard of.
That was before they were signed and everything.
Yeah, they might have been signed or not, I don't know, but I never heard of them at that point. I don't know if anyone really had, so I didn't see them. It wasn't until later I saw them, I think, open for like Danzig or something. I don't know. It was like still really aren't. I mean, when I first met them it was like 20 years ago. You know, I was backstage at Danzig, and they came up and started talking to me, and they just seemed like, very excitable kids.
But being a guy that yourself being so into Alice Cooper and all that, when you first saw and the whole bit, were you impressed?
Well, I never really got to see their show at its most theatrical,
right.
Truthfully. So I've seen the videos and it always looked spectacular, but I never got to see it live.
Right.
But I always thought they had a lot of great songs and that the image that they started with was really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, and I thought they had the songs to back it up, which was really the most important thing. Because a lot of bands have cool images, and then if there's no music, you lose interest after 10 seconds.
Well, that's just it, and that's the case I feel with Manson, and obviously you as well. I mean, if you don't have the songs, you can come out there with all the bells and whistles you want, but if the songs don't hold up at the end of the day, it means nothing.
Yeah, they got a lot of catchy songs.
Yeah.
Actually, they get stuck in my head and actually drives me a little crazy.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate some time here. Have a good show tonight. Again, tonight you're in Ohio?
I'm in Ohio, and also I just want to mention, this is kind of a weird thing, but there's a few tickets left at Hammerstein. I think somehow the word got out that it was sold out, but there are a few tickets left, so if someone wants to go.
Well, I tweeted that out earlier as well. We'll remind people again, this coming Wednesday, Hammerstein Ballroom here in New York City. Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, the Twins of Evil Tour. Go to robzombie.com. Find out a date coming to you, and I'll see you on Wednesday, Rob. We had a request before you came on for a Spook Show, so I'm going to do that one if that's cool.
Right on. Sounds
All right,
good.
man. Have a good gig tonight, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Bye.
Rob Zombie checking in. Eddie Trunk Live, Sirius XM 39, Trunk Nation, getting to the bottom of where things are at as far as the Manson